Hello everyone, today's fall book is another in the fall series by Martha E.H. Rustad. It's called Fall Harvest, Bringing in Food. So this is again by Martha Rustad and illustrated by Amanda Enright. Yeah, harvest is kind of a fancy word for picking and gathering crops and food. So right on the beginning we have our table of contents. It tells us which page each topic will be on. Chapter 1, Fall Foods. Yum! I help my dad make applesauce. We eat pecan pie and pumpkin bread every Thanksgiving. Some of my favorite foods are harvested in the fall. So it looks like they're cutting up apples to make applesauce, and these are some of the foods that are harvested during fall. This little leaf says, in fall, apples, pecans, and pumpkins are all ripe and ready to eat. So those are some of the foods that you would enjoy during fall time. What's your favorite fall food? Yeah, it's hard to pick, but I do really love apples. I have to say those are my favorite fall food. Chapter 2, Growing Food. Spring is for planting. In spring, farmers plant seeds to grow food for people and animals. The sign says corn. Tiny sprouts push out of the dirt. They will grow into pumpkins, turnips, potatoes, and corn. In orchards, apples and pecan trees blossom in the spring. The sign says potatoes. This sign says pumpkins. So we have all different kinds of plants, our crops growing, and it starts in the spring. This leaf says, farmers plant seeds far apart. Plants need lots of room to grow. By fall, the plants will fill these in the spaces. So they might look like they're not very close here in the spring, but as they grow larger and larger, you won't even hardly be able to tell the difference between one plant and the other. They'll be so large. Summer is for growing. Leaves turn sunlight into food for growing plants. Roots gather water for thirsty plants. So each part of the plant has a different job. Gathering sunlight and gathering nutrients and water. The green color inside leaves is called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll makes food for plants. Slowly, plants change and grow. Oh, it looks like this is a potato plant. See how the potatoes are starting to grow as the plant gets larger? And as the summer continues, the potatoes get larger and larger. Summer is a great time for growing because there's lots of sunlight. Usually, there's lots of rain and lots of pollinating animals around. Weeds and bugs can hurt growing plants. Weeds crowd out growing crops. Bugs eat growing leaves. This sign again says corn, this one says potatoes, so it looks like they're trying to get some of the pests off. Some of the bugs actually have pretty important jobs with plants. They're pollinators, but some of them just eat the plants, and we don't want those ones around. Farmers and gardeners work hard to stop weeds and bugs. People pull weeds with tools, machines, and their hands. Some gardeners pick bugs off by hand too. Yeah, so growing plants, can take a lot of effort on behalf of the farmers who grow it. Maybe you have a garden in your yard or your community. Yeah. It takes a lot of upkeep to make everything grow as best as it can. Chapter 3, Harvesting Food. Fall is for harvesting. Plants stop growing in the cool fall weather. Crops are ripe and ready for harvest. People harvest food using their hands or machines. This says, some farmers also plant grain seeds in the fall. These grains grow a little in the fall, they stop growing in winter, and then they start growing again in spring. They are ripe in early summer. So fall is a time when plants usually stop growing, so it's a great time to pick them. They're ripe, but it can also be a time when some plants actually start growing. They get a little head start for spring. Farmers harvest fruit from orchard trees in fall. People pick ripe apples and peaches by hand. Ripe pecans fall from pecan trees. Farmers sometimes use machines to shake pecans from trees. Yeah, I've seen a video of that. It can be really cool. This machine here goes up to the tree trunk, gives it a good shake, and all the pecans start falling down, and then they can harvest them from the ground. So, picking apples and peaches is something farmers do, but it can also be an activity that people like to do for a fun fall adventure. This leaf says, farmers know when apples and peaches are ready to be picked. Ripe fruit is easy to pull off the tree. Yeah, so when a fruit is ripe, it'll come off pretty easily. You may even start seeing them fall on their own. Chapter 4, Harvest Festivals. People around the world have festivals in fall. These festivals are parties to celebrate all the food harvested that year. In Korea, people have the Harvest Moon Festival. They eat rice cakes and play games. Yeah, so because fall harvest time is a time of like bounty, there's a lot of food around, it can feel like a big celebration for all the hard work you've done spring and summer, and now you have all this food that will help sustain you and others throughout the winter. At the Yam Festival in Ghana, people laugh and dance. They eat yams, walk in parades, and make music. In North America, Thanksgiving is a time for family. Families eat big meals, watch parades, and play sports. So those are different examples of harvest festivals around the world. But one thing they have in common is they're all celebrating the food, all the food that was gathered that year, and gathering together. In fall, the earth gets ready to rest. Farmers and gardeners get ready to rest too. I am thankful for the fall harvest. What is your favorite fall food? So again, we've got pumpkins, potatoes, we've got pecans, apples. What is your favorite? So many good choices. I like that idea that the earth is ready to rest. Yeah, and farmers too. People have been working hard spring, summer, and fall, and now it's time to rest. This is directions on how to make a corn husk friend. So you can make like a doll out of corn husks, which is something people have done for a long time, using the husks of corn to make things. And here's a glossary. The word is blossom, when flowers grow on a tree or bush. Celebrate, to do something fun on a special day, such as have a party. Chlorophyll, a substance inside leaves that makes them green and helps make food for plants. Crops are plants that usually grown for food. Festivals are big parties. Harvested means picked. Crops are harvested when they are ready to be eaten. Pecan, people say those that different way. A nut that grows on trees. Ripe means ready to be picked and eaten. Root, part of a plant that grows underground. Roots soak up water and bring it to the stem, and sprout is a small young plant. Here we have some books and websites you can read or visit to learn more about this topic, and then our index, which tells you which page a specific topic will be on. Well, I like this book a lot. It's a great time of year. It's a time where it just feels joyous at all things that we have, the efforts we put in are becoming fruitful, and we have so much to celebrate. And I also like that fall harvest can be a universal experience. People around the world can be celebrating this, and throughout time have celebrated this. And it's really a great way to connect ourselves to others. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for reading and learning with me. See you soon.